Hi, I'm Shane from BMXUltra.com and you're watching ECITV. Cheers. All right, how's it going, Gary? We're here.
Very good.
We're here at ECITV for episode 7.
Yes, incredible.
And we thought we might give the women in BMX racing a bit of a feature for this entire episode. So we've got an interview that you did with Lauren Reynolds.
Yep.
An interview I did with Gemma-Lee Thomas, and I also interviewed Danielle Pompe from Ballarat, who's a volunteer, so we get a volunteer side of the story as well.
A good cross-section of women in the sport. Very good.
Yes, and also, of course, our regular Show Us Your Bike segment. We've got 4 bikes in this one.
That's correct.
And we've got some general discussion stuff. Do you want to kick that off for us?
We certainly do, and appropriate for episode 7, we have the Kai fundraiser that Sam Willoughby has kicked off of 77 for 77. So where the pro riders or the elite riders are bench pressing 77 times of 77 pounds or 77 kilos.
So it's 77 kilos for the men and 77 pounds for the women.
Excellent.
Yeah. There is a funny video that I watched today of Saya, Kai's sister, doing a video. So we'll put a link up to that in the description.
Definitely.
And you said you've got a video for us of Ryder's Life doing a Staystrong V3 unboxing that we'll
Luke Christiano shot me a link of Ryder's Life unboxing a Staystrong V3. And quite a good little show of it. So what we'll do is we'll put the link up for that as well. We haven't got time to show the whole thing, but definitely worth a watch. And as always, the Ryder's Life and Luke Christiano did a fantastic job of it.
And what else have we got there, Gary?
We've got Sam Willoughby. If this goes to air in time and Shane does his editing, and we can get it up on this Sunday at 12 o'clock Australian Eastern Standard Time. Sam Willoughby will be live on BMX Australia Instagram answering any questions. So if you do get a chance to see this prior to Sunday lunchtime, jump on and watch Sam Willoughby on BMX Australia Instagram.
If you could ask Sam a question, what would it be, Gary?
What would it be? I've got no idea. What would you ask him?
Well, he was always highly motivated and very determined. I don't know that I've carried on the Sam Willoughby spirit through this downtime. I haven't been particularly motivated. I've been trying to ride my bike, but no training or anything like that. So I think I'd be looking for motivation tips, actually.
He's a massively motivated person going through what he is now to keep pushing himself every day. He definitely is. So.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we might kick it off with our Women in BMX episode with a little interview I did with Lauren Reynolds over in America. Fantastic person, and we might have a little bit of news after the interview. So what we'll do is flick across now and play the interview with Lauren Reynolds.
You going to press that play button for us?
It's near the any key, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Lauren Reynolds, welcome along to ECITV. It's fantastic to have you on here. We've tried to get together a couple of times in regards to having a bit of an interview, either a big chair interview, which we were doing trackside, which doesn't happen anymore, but it's good now to get you on Skype on the other side of the world. So welcome along.
Thanks. Yeah, it's good to be a part of it all. It's awesome to see you doing this.
Look, it's pretty exciting. It's something like ECITV's probably needed more now than when racing's in full swing, because a lot of people are just hungry for a little bit of BMX information. So that wasn't the reason we started ECITV, but it just sort of coincided with COVID-19, and it was something we were going to do probably on a monthly basis, but because of the situation, we're trying to do it weekly. So it's great for you to jump on and have a little bit of a chat to us. Like I said, the reason we're we've chased you up, apart from the fact that we really really like you and love what you do in the sport, is we're doing an episode on women in sport, concentrating on BMX racing. And like I said, you're the first person to jump to mind to have a quick chat about it. So
Thank you.
So what got you started in BMX back years ago?
My first race, I was 9. Before that, ever since I was on 2 wheels, I was just a mega tomboy. So I was riding bikes from 5 or so. I have an older brother, Bryce, and we're a couple years apart, but we share pretty much the same birthday. It's 1 day different. And we just grew up pretty much being best friends. And everyone in our neighborhood, like on the street that we lived on, we were all really good friends. We all rode bikes, and then they were just BMX bikes. So before and after school on the weekends, that's all we do. We just used to like dig the dirt jumps, go to the skate park. So I was just a mega tomboy, and whatever Bryce, my brother, did, I did. So it was just the thing to do. My older cousin did race at the time, and he was kind of like he was our best friend. He was the cool cousin, a couple years older, and we followed him. And then that's pretty much they invited us out there to the Bunbury BMX Club one like local Wednesday night, and we just had to take like the stump pegs off our bike, and we got a ice cream container lid, wrote a number on there, and stuck it to the handlebars, and that was it. So that's kind of how the racing started. But even before I raced, I remember like the real young days, we would dig in the dirt jumps in the backyard and just jumping into the river on the lake jumps. So yeah, my brother's definitely the person behind it all, who sort of dragged me along. But he didn't really drag me. I was all in.
You're already there. You just needed someone to push.
Yeah.
That you mentioned lake jumps there. It's something you don't see much of these days. I know when we had our BMX shop and you know things were really hopping. I remember it was just like in summer, nearly every second weekend you were setting up a set of lake jumps somewhere into a river or into a dam or whatever. You just don't see much of that these days. I think everyone's a bit too precious with their bikes.
We need to bring that back. That's
sure.
Real BMX. Get some milk cartons, tie it to your bike, and hang on.
Maybe there's something there we can organise. So
you have an event on, I'm there. I love that. So.
Oh, that's good. So what with starting at such a young age and everything, and being in the sport for so long like you have been, what actually holds you in the sport?
I mean, there's a number of things. Originally, I'm a competitive person, so you know, I want to win races, and it's a competition. So I played basketball as well when I was first started racing. So I was just competitive in both. And then obviously, you know, you find out like the depth of where you can go in the sport. And before the Olympics were even a thing, like there was the national championship. So I wanted to be national champion. And then you figure out, oh, you can become the best in the world if you want. And then, you know, so you sort of, there's that competitive side, but now it's kind of, obviously that's still there. And then there's the Olympic Games, been to 2, hoping to go to 3, like, so, and even within that, I haven't like achieved, I mean, it's, you know, I think it's, what's the word, like, take it for granted a little bit. I have been to 2, but I never really got what I wanted. I sort of never really went in totally ready, whereas I feel like I can now. So then there's that whole like unknown of like what am I capable of and what's possible. So that's that unknown of like I've never really been at this point of like physically and mentally prepared, like experienced, you know, the strength. So what am I capable of? That's exciting to me. And then I mean, there's all the other races. Like I race the US circuit full time with S-Squared and Answer BMX. So that's a whole nother like separate event series, prestige title that I would absolutely love to chase and, you know, sort of be up for the grabs of that. And then there's like, so there's all the competitive stuff that I love and I think I was born with. And what I've probably over the years learnt to love even more is like the daily routine and structure that comes with being a professional athlete.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you know, like you can go and it's just like from waking up like to what you eat and just what you think about and how you throw yourself in the deep end every day of like chasing the tiniest little like numbers, whether it's sprint, the gate time, the hill time, like the weights in the gym, just the littlest stuff. But that's, you know, you got to wake up and want that bit more every day. And just to like, I have so many years under my belt now where I can look back in like training diaries or like different coaches, all kinds of stuff, and like the progress. And it's just, it's something about waking up and having this routine of like, how am I going to be better today, and chasing those little like sprint times and things like that. That definitely, like, I'm almost 29, and that's like, it doesn't get any. I'm not bored of it. I'm not sick of it. I love it. Like it's
an absolute 24/7 dedication, isn't it? It's amazing.
Yeah, but you got to kind of create your own like pathway of how you want to go about it. I think like there's definitely different races out there who some have that more relaxed, chill personality, and they kill it. They do really good, and they within themselves they're so in control. And then you have somebody else who's like so structured and routined, and like the every little thing from how their socks are put on and whatever. But if they don't have that, they're not going to perform. So there's so many different people out there, and I think for the last few years I've just figuring out what I need and like. But now it's just the simple things, and you just kind of wake up and chase those little numbers and try to be better. And so I love that. I love that sort of routine.
So with that controlling your life so much, and you know, and being such a passion, would you encourage other women or other girls to get into the sport? To, you know, I know it's separate to you because you had that passion almost from a young age. A lot of girls don't, but you know, do you still think the words of encouragement would be to get them into the sport?
Oh, absolutely. Totally. And the sport's changed so much, like from when I started to now, and even 5 years ago, like, I mean, people are going to have their own opinion on this, but like sport in general is just different. And it's not always about like, now you don't have to be the world champion and the number one to enjoy it, to be successful, to motivate other people, to encourage. Like there's so many ways to be involved in the sport at any level. So you just want to be if you want to be the state champion and that's all you want, like go for it. That's amazing. Go for it. Like you don't need to go, you don't need to lose sleep over, you know, the bigger stuff and not have a life and all of that. And don't get me wrong, I have a life, I have a great life, and I still do I still switch off from BMX. But you know, it's there's so many different avenues in the sport.
Oh yeah. It's definitely given you so many opportunities.
Yeah, totally. Oh. So I think that there's more and more doors opening up, and more and more opportunities and different pathways and different levels within those. So, you know, like you've just got to, you find your feet, you find what you enjoy. And if it's just going out to your local track every Friday night and racing, there is nothing wrong with that at all. And even within that, there's, you know, like I can see it if it's, you know, I don't know how it's going to run with the Olympics and how long it stays in the Olympic Games. And everybody has their different opinion on whether the Olympics is actually helping it or not. But I think, you know, we can together grow our sport. And I would love to be a part of it within Australia, specifically to try to boom that up a bit and get a little more depth and, create some more opportunities for girls, get some teams going. And so I think there's nothing you should be afraid of, like, because you don't have to, if you're going to race, you don't have to know that you're going to be racing internationally at the highest level. You don't need to do that, you know. So
I think they're fantastic words to say that, you know, you just get involved in the sport to the level that you're comfortable with, and that you feel as though you get the most out of the sport. And for a lot of people, that could be just club racing. others could be state or national events, or other people like you that take it to the actual pinnacle and compete all around the world and chase that elusive dream.
Yeah,
So that's
absolutely.
fantastic. They're good words.
When I started, I didn't know that there was a national championship. I didn't know there was a world championship. I did not know there was an Olympic Games, or you could come and race in America every weekend of the year if you want. I didn't know that was a thing. So that's not why I signed up.
Yeah.
I signed up because I
fun.
love adrenaline and I love my bike, and that was it. And it wasn't until a year later that, oh, I can go to the state championships. Cool.
Yeah.
Mom, you want to take me? So you don't, you go in and you do that, with whether it's family member, brother, sister, cousin, uncle, aunt, whatever, and and that's the thing. It is a great family sport because you can do it at any level. So I would love to see more and more.
We were probably similar in the sense that we got involved in BMX many years ago when my children started racing, and it opened up the world of state events and national events and everything. And we didn't know that there was such a thing. We just thought it was just a local BMX track, kids having fun. Our first nationals, when we did find out about them, was actually in your hometown almost. It was in Coburn in Western Australia. That was our first nationals, and we thought, oh, you're kidding, we've got to travel all the way across Australia just for a race meeting. Then we were hooked. The following year was Cairns, so we had to go from right to left the 1 year, and then from the bottom to the top the next year. So but that definitely hooked us, and obviously we've ended up with a business and everything involved in it, so we've been in it quite a few years. But there's an example. You can take it where you want to. My children faded out of the sport, and I still had a bit of a passion for it, and hence ECI Imports. So you can do a lot with anything as long as you've got that drive and passion, I suppose. So find what you actually enjoy about it. It's going down with mates just to hang out, which is totally cool. Or if you love riding your bike, you have a little adrenaline kick, whatever it is. I mean, I just love being involved in BMX and being able to talk to people like you. And people, like with the business side of things for me, I also get to meet a lot of people, and one we've got is a mutual friend, which is a larger than life man called John Sawyer.
Yeah, that's it. What a guy.
He's definitely larger than life. And do you get to catch up with John much at all from Answer Esquire?
Every year at Grands we always hang out, but then it's just a matter of what races he travels to. So they do most on the East Coast, and if it's not John, it's Blake, his son. So, but they have their team because they got a few teams now. So we usually have a team and a nice setup at almost every national. So,
fantastic.
But I try to see John as much as possible. We usually have one event where it's it's away from BMX a year that we get to. Have a good time. So that's
his middle name, I think. Good time, John.
Yeah, that's it. That's what the sport does, though. It's you meet some awesome people, and there's plenty of them out there. It's really cool.
So how are you going with your training and everything with the whole COVID side of things? Most of it's indoor, or you're getting out and able to do some sprints and it makes it hard for everyone at the moment, and everyone's looking for that, sort of avenue to be able to do some training on the side.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's definitely it's different, but for me, it's not a huge change. The only thing that I'm not really getting is the track. And I'm really spoilt with that where I'm living over here, and I have plenty of tracks available. So we get a lot of track time. If we were racing, obviously it just wouldn't even happen because we would need that. But with all the races off, it's not, I don't need to be at the track, and I spend so much time there. It's not that bad. Obviously I miss it. And I'm sure we'll be back soon, but at my house here, I have like a little gym set up. So I'm able to, maintain and work on all of the stuff in the gym, which, I still am taking everything like very serious as I do always. So this is a really good opportunity for me personally to be able to work on some things, but the weather's good here as well. So lucky with that. Still doing sprints. So it's really just the track that we're missing. But just also being creative and, you know, I'm trying to embrace and enjoy this time of like,
Yep.
I don't have to go down to Tuesday night gates, and because when we go do that, it's pretty competitive. So it's, you know, even though it's training, you want to win gates, you want to go fast. So
it's that competitive spirit you've got.
yeah. There's no escaping it. So I mean, have a little rest from that and be able to work on other things, and just, you know, like just simple things like trying to manual down the street longer than I have before, and playing around, doing some bunny hops, just, you know, still being on the bike. But yeah, just, you know, trying to be as creative as I can. But it's just a good way to kind of stay away from the track a little bit and do what we can, like, you know, stuff we don't normally get to do. So
that's good. It's great to look at the positives of it, because I mean, there are a lot of positives that come out of something like this. I mean, for instance, exactly what we're doing at the moment. You know, normally I'd be waiting to catch up with you at a race meeting somewhere to have an interview, and usually you're focused on racing, and it's hard to try and, but you know, just to sit here on a weekend or whatever and have a chat over Skype, we wouldn't have thought about that if it wasn't for COVID. So
100%. I mean, this is like, this time in life, it's so easy to just be negative and poor me, and why is this happening to me? And like, you know, I mean, everyone can relate, I'm sure. Like, it's very easy to be in that mindset. We've all done it, but why? Everyone's struggling a bit. No one can go to the BMX track. It's not just you, it's everyone. So it is what it is.
And I mean, it'd be a bit discouraging for you, because you started the UCI World Cup season so well with a 5th and 6th in Shepparton. You know, it looked like you were, you know, really firing to get into those 2 finals on the first 2 days. And then obviously, you know, what happened in Bathurst, and then COVID after that. So it looked like you were on a really good, you know, mindset, and obviously you were peaking just at the right time for those events. So then to have all that shut down, it would be disheartening, but it's great to see that you can see the positive side of everything.
Yeah, it's a bummer for sure. I mean, it's 2020, it's a big year, and it's I definitely put a lot of work in, but now I have more time to put work in, you know, so none of that will change. And honestly, it's another year that I get to race BMX, and, you know, that, like, everything's extended a little bit, but it's another year of doing this, and I'm not upset about that. But like I said, it's so easy to be miserable and be negative, but it is what it is. So
exactly.
Just, I'm doing things I don't normally do.
Like talking to me on Skype.
Like talking to you. You know, and it, like, if there's one thing that I was to like recommend to anybody is, I think that kids these days need to learn how to work on their bike themselves. So this is the perfect time. Nothing worse than have something happening at a race or whatever, and you not knowing what to do and having to go to a bike shop. And I am so passionate about that, especially with girls, because we let the boys do it. But I've been taught years ago from one of my coaches that because I had to change gears, I had to change everything, and I had to do it myself. So if there's nothing else you can think of, go out there and learn how to pull your bike apart completely to the frame and rebuild it, and do that over and over. And
I must admit, I agree fully with you there, because over the years I've had so many pro riders that I've sponsored, and it's amazing how they would not have a clue to change a tube. I mean, it's just because they've been brought up with their dad or you know, someone, their mechanic or whatever, doing everything for them, that they get to such an elite level that you've got to have an understanding of your equipment, but they have no idea. They wouldn't have a clue how to change a tire or a tube. So that's a valid point.
So there's if you're bored, go and do that.
Now we probably politically incorrect, but we have a segment called the dad joke battles, where we get a couple of the pro riders or whatever, and we had, you know, Max Cairns and Connor Fields, and we've got Hayden Fletcher, and, you know, doing a few battles. And I'd love to hit you up one day and see if we can get you to take on someone as in a what could we call it? BMX racer battle instead of a dad joke battle. But yeah, so I might hit you up if you're up for that to do a dad joke. We'll have to come up with a new name for it now.
Yeah.
Dad joke battle.
All right.
So I might hit you up in the next couple of weeks to see if you can do that. So
yeah, sounds good.
So look, we might wrap it up there if that's okay with you. Otherwise, the segments go on forever. But I'd just really like to thank you for taking the time. And just two things before you go. One is let everyone know your social media so they can follow you. And if there's anyone that you would like to thank.
Of course, thank you for having me. It's awesome to have a chat. We've never actually been able to do this. So share everything with me with what you throw out on the internet. I'd love to see it and help and support. Obviously, thank you to my sponsors, John, S-Squared Answer. Yeah, I am trying to do my best with social media to be a little more out there, show you guys a little more inside stuff. So Instagram, Lauren Reynolds. My Facebook has recently been hacked, so that's no longer. My page is out there. And I am I was actually doing a massive clean out this morning of my house, and I have a lot of goodies that I need to disperse. So I'm thinking of doing some giveaways and some like packages of all kinds of stuff. So stay tuned for that, and we'll see if we can do something. Maybe we can incorporate it with yourself, and
that'd be awesome. Maybe we can. I'll try and organise something for the next episode when we do women in sport type thing, so we can have a little bit of encouragement there for some girls to write in and maybe get something from you. So that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'd love to help for sure.
And maybe even a jersey or something for.
I was going to say, I reckon
for the office
up there. I like it. Totally. I'll go next.
Okay. Oh yeah, there's some old ones there.
Yeah.
Okay, Lauren, thanks very much. That's awesome. And stay safe.
I will. You too. Thank you.
Okay, cheers.
Bye.
Okay, I want to thank Lauren for having time to spend with us doing that. A fantastic person she is. Now, what Lauren and I have been talking a little bit, and we're looking at starting up something here in Australia. So watch this space, and there'll be a bit of information coming shortly in regards to a little setup we might have going. So it's pretty good news. So for all you young girls out there that are up and comers, stay tuned.
And big fans of Lauren too might help.
Definitely. Yeah, she's fantastic. A real credit to the sport of BMX. So yeah.
I noticed after that interview you picked up a bit of an American accent. You called her Lauren.
Well, Lauren. There's Gary here.
I've always been a big fan of Lauren Reynolds, and it's good to hear what she has to say about racing, and it's great that she enjoys it. And we really do have to organise that lake jumping competition she was talking about, the Lauren Reynolds Lake Jump Bash or something.
It's amazing how even in that interview that it brought it back, the fact that it was a summer, sort of a standard thing where you'd all head down to a lake or a river or something. So, maybe we will have to. And she's pretty keen to get involved.
I've been looking for somewhere to do it safely for a while, but no one's had any suggestions. So if anyone else out there in ECITV Lounge does know a good location, obviously during the warmer months, or we might even take off up to Queensland, I think, Gary, it might be a good time.
Road trip. Okay, well, I think we might, from that, jump straight over to Show Us Your Bike competition. What do you think? We've got a few entries this week again.
Yep, let's kick that off with Bree.
There you go, look at that.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, now you can kick this one off. All
right. So this one is a great photo. I like it a lot. I like the beach, and it's something I haven't seen for a while. Not only the beach setting, but the purple hubs, and of course we like to see our BMXers smile. So this is Bree, and she says her brother won some free stuff on our show. He was the one with the glow in the dark, yes. So she thought she would give it a try. So her favourite colour is purple, So Dad built up this purple Yes for her for her 14th birthday. So it's a Yes Type X frame. She's got Box X forks, rhythm cranks, and of course Skyway Tufts, which are purple as well. Later on, she mentions that the dad had the Tufts in the shed for years, or a leftover from Mum's retro race bikes. That sounds like BMX is a big family thing for them. So she begged the father for the wheels, and they basically built the bike around the wheels. So I think you could agree with me that the bike's quite a nice, pleasant build, and it looks like a fun bike to ride as well.
So good to see Skyway Tufts on there. Just that touch of retro with a modern frame, modern forks. Yeah, excellent. And like you said, a great setting. And even little hints of blue through. Like I know it's not necessarily, but blue socks, blue gloves, blue plate. It's just got that little hint through. Looks fantastic.
So she said, I love my bike, I love racing, and they're from Adelaide. They're a member of the Copper Coast BMX Club. I'm not sure where that one is. Is that north?
I think it is north, actually. Yes.
Sorry, before we move on, she does say shout out to my coach, D-Man, and Andy, the club president.
I actually know Andy well. So hello, Andy. Okay, moving right along, we have a regular Paul Knox. Now, he's got a heck of a collection of bikes, predominantly mid-school, old school, and new school. He's got them all over the place. So this one here, I'm not even too sure what the frame is. It's got a double top tube, which is quite unique. But he's written, steel is also what you wish you had in the front of your shins when you slip your pedals with those JP Pro squares with file sharpened DK cages. Why would you do that?
We all did that. Either put self-tappers in platforms or filed up some nice cages.
And he goes on to say, late 80s out with track hubs, Sun Chinook rims, GT profiles, and power bend bars. And his last comment is, no, that is not a disc brake.
That's a chain guard.
It's a chain guard. So, yeah, fantastic entry again from Paul. And took a bit of time to set it up by the looks of things. Are they, I'm not too sure, but down the bottom right-hand corner, are they sparklers?
It looks like, yeah, he's going above and beyond again. I think the jet might have limited him a bit, though.
That is such a Paul.
And he races this bike as well in the retro class.
I must admit, Paul doesn't have them all just sitting in the shed, hanging up, collecting dust. He does jump on most of them. So, love the landing gear forks. Another regular, Ryan Whitling with his son, Texas, his bike.
Okay, so this is mostly a Texas feature. We've had Ryan's bike on before. He had a green Staystrong V2, which he's upgraded, so you'll see both of them very shortly. So this is Texas's junior V3 Staystrong with Staystrong stem, which I actually thought was a little profile stem when I first saw it, and then realised they only do front loaders. He's got the Ansa mini brakes, Ansa Sam Willoughby dagger forks, which always look sweet no matter what bike. The MPH platform pedals. He's got Insight alloy bars, and lots of Ansa and Insight and Staystrong gear on there. A very well presented bike. I really like the rustic backgrounds and the mechanical trainee looking stuff going on in the back.
Definitely.
It's very sharp bike.
And he's running V Speed Booster tyres. Test running those for us, actually, giving us a little bit of feedback. So very, very trick. I think he has another picture there, you were saying?
Yeah, there's two more, I think.
Bit of a close-up. And there's a dad and son setup. What a great looking pair of bikes. Like you said, I love the setting. That's fantastic. In an old rail yard or something. Very, very, very rustic for a couple of very modern bikes. This one's come in from Shane Elliot. I have a 2015 DK Elite frame, box rims, rival hub, box forks, Promax cranks, Insight head stem, and absolutely love it. So it's good to get an entry like that. He could have plucked the weeds out of the fence, but that looks awesome.
I've raced with Shane a couple of times and chat with him on and off. He's quite the personality from the Knox BMX club. Just another guy that really loves BMX. It's good to see.
Hello to everyone out there from the Knox Crocs. Okay, a little bit of a follow-up from last week. We had an entry from Billy Mcgraw. Now, we were curious as to the stickers on the carbon rims that he had, which was ooh-ah. And so he actually wrote in this week and said there was a famous Australian fast bowler with the same surname, Phil Crotty, at our club, which is the Frankston Sharks BMX club. So hello everyone out there at the Franger Sharks. Started calling him Billy Ooh-Ah, Billy Mcgraw. And the Ooh-Ah name stuck, and the race number is 54. So that's when Ooh-Ah 54 was born.
I think we just gave it away that we don't watch cricket.
Well, why is that, mate?
Well, we would have picked up on that last week, I think.
Yeah, exactly right. We probably should have. But the funny part is I do follow cricket, so I should have
really
realised, yeah.
If anyone else wants to join in on the fun. Oh, actually, no, we haven't picked a winner yet.
No, we haven't, but I think it's pretty obvious this week, being the fact that we've got women in sport, that I'm leaning a long way towards Bree. And I think she would have taken it out anyway with those Skyway Toughs. So good on you, Bree. You can match your brother now, and you can both be walking around in a pretty cool ECI BMX t-shirt.
Thanks everyone that did enter, and if you want to enter in future episodes, make sure you send a photo of your bike along with your t-shirt size and return address in case you win. And who do they email their photos to, Gary?
I should have practiced this. ECITV at bmxultra.com.
Congratulations.
Did I get it right?
Yeah, absolutely.
See, that's another reason Bree won, is because she emailed in her address and her t-shirt size, so it makes my life easy. So well done, Bree. Okay, so you've got an interview coming up now with, take it away.
Yeah, so we interviewed Gemma-Lee Thomas. She is deeply involved in BMX racing as an elite racer, but also as a coach. So I thought it'd be interesting to get the two sides of her story. So can you press the play button for us, Gary? Thanks, Gemma, for joining us for our ECITV Women in BMX feature. What we would like to find out about is how you got involved in BMX. Can you kind of tell us the little backstory?
Yeah, so I got into BMX because of my neighbour. So my next door neighbour just had these jumps in his backyard, and I was like, oh, that looks a bit interesting. So I just went over one day and introduced myself, and then he let me borrow a bike, and then him and his family started taking me to South Lake BMX, and didn't really stop from that.
So you didn't have a bike at the time?
No, I borrowed one of his bikes.
Were you involved in any other sport at the time?
Yeah, so I was in netball and horse riding.
So how did you find BMX as a newbie? Was it very welcoming, especially being a male-dominated sport? Was it welcoming for a female?
Yeah, I found like South Lake was really welcoming at the start. I had Saya there to look up to. Well, she was 2 years younger than me, but she was an awesome rider. So I did get to see her ride a lot, and we raced in some of the same divisions when I started getting a little bit better. And yeah, I think, they're pretty good, and South Lake was pretty welcoming, and it was good.
Were there a lot of females in the sport at the time?
No, there was probably like maybe not even 10 at South Lake. There was only just like me, Saya, and then there was just a couple others, and then that was really it. There wasn't really many girls in it.
And that's changed quite a bit now?
Yeah, definitely. Like when I go to the track now, there's definitely heaps more girls. They would probably have triple the amount.
What do you think would have made the biggest change to the female participation levels?
I reckon just the sport's getting more recognised, so more people having a go, and they are seeing a lot more girls around the track, and that's encouraging more girls to have a go and give it a crack. And the come and try days are really helping as well. So I think all of that together is really just growing the sport and making more females join and loving it.
Do you think people take the sport more seriously now that it's an Olympic sport as well?
Oh, definitely. I definitely do reckon that.
I remember when I was a kid, there was a female in our club whose parents basically said, "What are you racing BMX for? There's no future. Why don't you do something that's more of an Olympic sport?" So I think she moved on to cycling. So I guess that kind of thing wouldn't happen now. What age were you when you started racing pro?
I was 14.
And were there a lot of girls in the class at the time?
No, there wasn't really. Like maybe at the state events we had more than the gate of 8, but other than that, it was kind of probably under 8, roughly.
So at what stage did you ride the first 8-meter starting hill?
I was 17. That's when I went to Sleeman. That was really the only one in Australia, and it was a bit scary.
What was your very first ride down the hill like? Were you hard on the brakes or did you just hit it?
No, just like on the brakes. All the way down.
And I remember talking to you before, and you were saying how there used to be some kind of training platform that they would put on the jump for you.
Yeah, so when I went up there, they had a girls only session, and they had this platform that they made that extended the tabletop, so they could just remove it. So it was really, really good. Like you could just roll down the hill and then jump like 2 meters and then, or probably like 5 meters, and then land on top. I found like that was a really, really good help, and especially to heaps of the girls to try and hit it. But again, I was like 17, so I was a bit nervous.
So at what point did you start getting less intimidated by the hill and then more focused on jumping that first double?
Actually, the first time I jumped it was at the national championships week, and the only reason I really jumped it is because I kept actually going on the gate with Lauren Reynolds, and I just kept going, and I was like, oh, I could do this. Like I'm near the pace, and then the next gate I jumped on next to her, and I did it.
But you didn't race the Supercross events that were here in Australia at the start of the year. Was that still because you were not 100% recovered from your injuries?
Yeah, so my thumb is a bit busted, so it has its good days and its bad days. I lost a fair bit of movement in it, so just trying to adapt to that and having confidence in that again, because I don't want to have my hand slip off and me go through the same process. I've already had about 7 months off last year, so I want it to be a better year and just give the thumb a bit more recovery and have a bit more strength behind it before I start doing all that again, really.
But you've got more confidence in racing just a normal everyday BMX track. It's just the bigger ones where you got the bigger jumps and the higher speeds that you're worried about.
Yeah, I thought I was good up until I went to Darwin and I hit that 8 meter, and then my hand just blew off and I had a pretty big crash when I ended up in hospital, and then ended up breaking my thumb again. So I thought I was good at all the other tracks, but then the higher speeds just made my hand go a little bit faster. So definitely something I had to watch and just let my thumb heal a little bit longer and just try and get more strength and adapt to the new riding I can do.
So there's definitely a higher risk level racing on those kind of tracks with 8 meter hills, and you don't see a lot of girls in Australia racing at that level. I remember at Shepparton, I think there might have only been 5 junior elite girls, and there would have been lucky to be a full gate of senior elite at last year's nationals. What do you think we need to do to sort of boost those numbers and get more girls involved?
I think they're starting to be on the right track, letting 14-year-olds being able to ride on the hills. The only thing is there's not enough. There's only one in each state, and some of them are in country towns that no one really goes to. And I just think if they had more access to them and riding them all the time, it would really help. Like I said, I was 17. If I could do what they are doing now and be 14 again and introduce that a little bit earlier, I think it'd be a different outcome. I just think there needs to be more of them. We just have to get used to riding them more often instead of once in a blue moon kind of thing.
What would you say you enjoy most about BMX racing?
I would definitely enjoy coaching all the kids. It's probably the biggest highlight of mine, having a cheer on the gate, winning the finals, and them cheering my name as loud as they can, and me finishing races, and they all come over and talk to me. So just coaching and seeing the kids smile and me helping them being able to achieve their goals as well. That's probably the biggest highlight.
During a normal time period, not COVID, you do a fair bit of coaching, don't you?
Yeah, I coach 2 to 3 times a week at Castle Hill, and I have probably about 40 plus kids there.
And what would be the percentage of girls that attend your coaching?
I think I have a pretty high percentage of girls. I think I have about probably 10 to 15 plus females there. So it's not as much as the boys, but it's definitely growing, and it grows every week. So
if you could implement one new idea to sort of grow the female participation in BMX, what would it be?
I would like, so they did start it. So they're going to do a common try day for females only. So I would definitely push for that a lot more instead of just maybe having like 2, 3 a year, and really trying to get all those girls out and getting new girls in, and just trying to help them a bit more, because I always on the common try days help the girls out a little bit more to try and get them signed up to the sport.
What words of encouragement would you give somebody who is, say, new to the sport? Obviously, it could be quite intimidating. You walk up to a BMX track and it might have a 5-meter starting hill and some big jumps. They might see the pro section before they actually see the amateur section on a track, and it can be quite scary. What would you say to a new rider coming into BMX to give them some words of encouragement?
I'd probably say just don't let fear hold you back. If you give it 100%, you'd be surprised at what you could do.
Very good words. All right, Gemma, thanks very much. That's all I've got time for. Hopefully we'll talk to you again soon. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, bye.
So what do you think of that interview, Gary?
Very good. It's look, Gemma's always such a happy soul. We've spent a fair bit of time with her BMX trackside. She's hung out with us quite a bit, and she's always a pleasant sort of person to hang out with. She's very, very liked by a lot of younger riders and old riders, but there are constantly people coming up saying hello to her, and she seems as though, to me, that she does take a lot of notice of the riders that she trains, because quite often a rider will come up to a trackside and Gemma will turn around and say, look, I love the move in that corner, or what you did here, or what you did there. So she doesn't just coach, but she actually has a bit of a passion, and she does follow the riders on the track. So kudos to Gemma. She does a great job there.
Even the people she doesn't coach, I've had my butt kicked by her a few times.
Okay, so you got another one, mate?
Yeah, we've got another interview. So we thought we'd sneak in a third one this time round with Danielle Pompe from Ballarat. So she's deeply involved in BMX, not only in Ballarat, but pretty much around the state. So one of the more popular volunteers we'd see on a week-to-week basis. So she's often in staging, but doing other things as well. She's a committee member at Ballarat, and she also organised an event that they had in Ballarat, which was a women's coaching session for girls, or for women. And they got riders in from all over the country, but we can leave it up to Danielle to tell us all about that one. Do you want to hit the play button again?
Do you know what? Each time you mention Ballarat, because I mean, I know this goes all around Australia, and because of that, people mightn't be aware, but we're having an absolute cold snap here in Victoria, where it's probably, where I live and probably where Shane lives, it's probably around 8 to 9 degrees, a chance of snow. So each time you mention Ballarat, because Ballarat is even colder than that. So each time you name Ballarat, I think, oh God, it'd be cold up there. So anyway, let's go across to that interview. So
thanks very much for joining us for our Women in BMX. I'll call it a special, because you're special. You're always special.
Thank you. Especially in more ways than one.
So there's a lot of areas where females are involved in BMX. There's obviously female racers and officials. So we're talking to you today as an official, as a club committee member, and as somebody that's organised female coaching clinics.
Yeah.
Firstly, how did you get involved in BMX racing?
Well, believe it or not, I wanted to, with Shannon, my daughter who races, she did dancing and she did swimming. And with Damon, he did swimming, but I wanted to get him into another sport. So we did, looked at karate. No, he said it wasn't for him. End up buying the most amazing video, DVD, I should say, BMX Bandits. And he turned around and he goes, I want to do that. And I'm like, oh, okay, how do I do this? So I put something on Facebook, and a girl I used to work with knew Doug Jolly, or knew the Jollies, and said, get in contact with these guys. And I did, and here we are all these years later. So an $8.83 movie has got me to where we are today.
So what made you decide to put your hand up and start volunteering as an official?
As an official, just look, you just want to help out. Look, it's not about, it's not about me or you. It's about everyone getting involved and helping out. It's about the kids having fun. If there's no officials, there's no riding. So you guys can't ride, the kids can't ride. So I just said, look, I'll help out, help the club out. And when you go to race meets and stuff, they do look for people to help out. The more officials you get, the more volunteers you get, you don't have to be there all day. You don't have to officiate all day. So, and yeah, it's just seeing the kids have fun and, ride around with kids, young and old.
And old adults.
And old adults. Well, you're all kids at heart. Have fun and, enjoy something that they like. And, yeah.
So it must be quite demanding being an official. I over the decades I've been racing, it's unusual to see someone so happy all the time, smiling all the time like yourself. What is it that keeps making you go back? Surely there's a lot of work involved.
Look, it's just seeing like you guys and the kids just happy doing something that you love. Like, I get asked, do you ride? I'm like, no, I'm not that silly, if I got on a bike, I'll probably need the defib. So, but it's just, you need your officials there so you can race. And look, I do it for my kids and for you guys. So you guys can continue doing something that you do like. So yeah, and it's growing me as well. So one good thing, I'm not just put here. I'm tarting around between all different, different positions.
Oh, right. What's the favourite job you do as an official?
Favourite? Oh, I don't know. I just, look. Probably keeping John in line.
If anyone can do it for you.
Look, I always keep him in line. So no, I love staging because you get to meet all the kids, and the amount of times I say you kids run over my toe, I mean it. And so, but no, it's because you're getting up close and personal with the kids and having not just the kids, like all you guys as well, and having fun. Also having a laugh and joke with you oldies and, and stuff like that. So, but look, it's just, I don't know, for me personally, I just love it. Both my kids do it. My eldest daughter, she did netball and, I got behind her. So as well in her netball career, but for Shalyn and Damon, it's, just watching them and keeping an eye out. And anyway, I get told I'm not allowed to yell and, get excited. So I think they like it that I officiate, that I'm not yelling and screaming.
So clearly being an official is not enough. You're also involved in your local committee. What do you do there?
At the local committee, I'm at home here in Ballarat. I'm the membership coordinator. So if we have any inquiries, I'm the first point of call. So they get in contact with me via either the Facebook page, Instagram page, or my numbers on the website as well. So they get in contact with me, and yeah, we just talk them through and just, help new members out if they've got any inquiries and things like that as well. So.
Does the club have a lot of female members?
We do. Look, when I first started, there was not even a handful of females, but now we are growing, which is great. So we've probably had around 5. Now we've got close to 20. So, but it's dropped down a little bit, obviously, with everything that's going on with COVID and everything. But we've 20 odd, no more than 30, but yeah.
And does the club have to come up with ideas to continue to grow those female numbers?
Yeah, like it's like anything when you're trying to grow your members and things like that, what you can do. Like we're in the middle of we were doing a program with Phoenix College here, or for the old people that know Sebastech, and we do have one girl that's involved in that clinic. So they come on a Monday and they do a training session, a program with Nathan, our one of our head coaches, and I was talking to their head PE teacher, and we're looking at doing a female only base one as well. So doing the same sort of thing, but just females only, because a lot of the girls are like, oh no, isn't that just for boys? No, it's not. Like, you know, and that's what it is. Like, a lot of kids think, oh, it's only a boy thing, when it's not. It's only a boy sport. No sport is male orientated. Do you know what I mean? It can be female orientated as well. So like, we've got amazing females out there kicking butt. So
who'd be the fastest female in Ballarat at the moment?
Well, you've got who we've got. Like, we've got Johanna Jepcott. She's down from Waterville. She's one of them. Shallon's up there as well. Alana Jolly. We've got Gretchen Calm. She did the program, the girls program here. She's just new out, so she's still trying to find her feet and things like that. But yeah, probably Alana. Sienna Richmond as well. She's absolutely amazing little squishies. So, probably those 4 girls. Then you've got your younger girls as well. So you've got like your Penny Simmons, and then you drop down to your mini Millers, and then you've got your little, they're so cute. And then you've got that sassy little Evelyn Moss. Oh, she's a cheeky little one. I love her to death. So.
And Ballarat ran an all-women's clinic, or a couple of women's clinics late last year. Who were the coaches you got, and what was the success of that?
Look, I started off talking with Caroline Buchanan, and she was super keen, but we just had to wait for her to get results back from her surgery, and she did get all the all clear from that, which was amazing. She did have to race off back to America, but unfortunately, with this year being an Olympic year, her coach wanted her to focus on that. So, which is fine. I'm just like, we'll just Ballarat, But, she was super, super keen about, doing it all. She was my first point of call when I had my 3 a.m. bright idea. And then we had Saya. She was coming down, but unfortunately, again, Olympic year. So we end up with our coaches. We had Kirsten Duller, Leah Hearn, and Kat Hopkins from WA. But we had, as our mentors, we had those 3 girls as well. But we had Portia Eden from Cairns. That kid, love her, absolutely amazing. We also had Bendigo's Jacqueline Wilson. She was amazing as well. And then, we had Leah also. Kirsten, she did the coaching side for Portia, because obviously Portia isn't a coach, so you need to have the coach to coach the girls. So, but yeah, so we had those girls, and then Kat come over, and she come over from Perth, and her and Kirsten are best mates, so so they got to catch up, which was great. And Leah come down from Canberra and spent the weekend here. So she did her training, her mentoring clinic on the Saturday, and then Jacqueline did hers on the Sunday, and Leah did the coaching side for Jacqueline on the Sunday.
It sounds like it was an expensive little exercise. Was it funded?
Yeah, we did. We got a grant through. We had a grant guy here, Ashley Pollard. I said, look, is there anything we can do to get a grant from this? And he worked his magic and he goes, we can get this. So we got $5,000 from the state government for This Girl Can. And so which paid for them and their accommodation and things like that as well. And, you know, I fed them here. And so we're just like one big happy family. So, yeah, which is great.
Do you think it's something you'll do on a regular basis?
Yeah, we're really looking into it. What I was thinking of doing is saying 1 year, like doing the female, because there are some old school BMX males out there. Why do girls get this? And you do see that, unfortunately. Why do females get this? But when you're trying to grow females in the sport, like if you put on a come and try day, it's going to be, you get 100 people, 90 of them are going to be guys, 10 of them are going to be girls. So we want to continue on doing it, but then I thought 1 year you can do a female one, next year you can do a male one. So try and keep that happy medium going. But I really want to get in with the schools as well, and this program that we're running through Phoenix College, do through the rest of the schools around as well. Get in there and get girls out there also. Just do a female-based one as well. So,
have you had any other epiphanies lately since then?
Oh God, don't know. But my husband tells me, will you just stop waking up in the middle of the night and coming up with these big brainy ideas? Look, I must admit, I do my my best work in the middle of the night when I can't sleep. So, but yeah, look, there's a few things, but you'll have to watch this space.
All right, that's all we got time for. Thanks very much for joining us.
No, that's great.
How can people follow Ballarat's club on social media?
Yeah, look, jump on to Ballarat's Basketball BMX Club Facebook page. We do have a members only page, which obviously is for members only, because the rest of the world doesn't want to know what we've been, oh, look, who's got this tyre for sale, or, so, but jump on that. We're also on Instagram as well. You can Google Google just Ballarat's Basketball BMX Club, but it's great. We're loving it. Sorry.
Awesome. Thanks very much again.
No, that's fine. Thanks for that, Shane. You have a great day, and stay safe in this COVID-19.
Oh, you too. Yeah. I'll see you on the other side. I love Danielle as a volunteer. She also interviews well, which I've just found out. So it's great to see what she does and what she enjoys about volunteering and getting her side of things. What's your take on that one, Gary?
Look, it was very informative. It's great to see someone with a fair bit of passion like that and gets involved so deeply with her local club, but also other facets of BMX. It's fantastic to see someone that's involved in the sport so much by keeping the kids going, keeping them at the track, and volunteer like that. I know myself and my wife went through years of volunteering at the track and helping out with Lilydale BMX Club, and people just don't realise the amount of work involved and the amount of time people spend doing it just to keep everyone on the track. So hats off for sure for all the volunteers out there.
Yeah. We've got to the end of the show. That was sad, short and sweet.
It was a bit. I suppose that's because with the interviews, as we've said in the past, normally we will limit the interviews maybe to one a fortnight or something, because we would be covering racing a lot more. But without racing at the moment, it does give us the opportunity to turn around and get into the minds of volunteers, elite athletes, and general just riders. So it is good to have time to be able to have some of these interviews. So yeah, we are approaching the end of the show. So what have we got coming up in episode 8?
So we're finally able to squeeze in our interview with Nathan Glab that I did a week ago. So looking forward to showing you that. So we talked to Nathan about how he got into racing. He started at a slightly older age than most people, about 12 years old, and talked to him about the recent Supercross events and what he does as far as coaching. So that'll come up next week. We should get back onto Michael Bias for another Bias opinion. I think we're going to try and broach a new subject this time. Don't want to bore too many people with coaching, because clearly with Michael, he's got a lot to say, and there's a lot of different subjects we can touch on with him. And hopefully we'll get back onto some more tech talk. Do you reckon we'll get back onto the alloy versus chromoly cranks discussion?
Definitely. We'll kick that off next week, because we have postponed that the last couple of weeks, and we've been gathering information, so we will definitely kick off an alloy versus chromoly crank revolution next week. And yeah, I think everyone will find that quite interesting, because the deeper I delve into that is the more information I get, the more interesting it becomes. So
We might try to get some guests to help us out with that one.
yeah, we probably will. That's probably not a bad idea. So that's probably about it for us. What we do need you to do, though, is to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook, so you can stay up to date with everything that Shane and I are doing in the world of BMX racing.
I think that's all we've got then. Thank you very much for another lovely weekend, Gary, and we'll be seeing you next week.
No worries, mate. Cheers, and everyone out there, stay safe.
See ya. I always think, am I supposed to start this off like I'm on drugs or something? Say, hey, I'm at ECITV. Or just do it normally.
Aha, now I know what I've got to do. Share the screen.
For reals.
There you go, look at that, straight up.
Straight up what?
Oh, you haven't got it?
No.
Share the screen? What have I done wrong?
This is the invisible bike, I think. Chameleon painted, it's a real clown on the screen.
Now, come on, I'm sure I've done it right this time. Oh, start sharing. There's that extra button that I always miss. Start sharing.
You've definitely got coronavirus.
All right, thanks very much for joining us for our Women in BMX. I'd say exclusive, but it's not. What is it? Expose? No, that's
yeah. Let's go expose.
special. It shouldn't be special though.